night, and I thought that maybe we'd go on a little trip. So come with me on a trip, a safari, to the African savannah. Ostrich was pulling her feathers out. She had just hatched 4 short, stout, stubby, spotted, fluffy, furry-looking chicks. And it was all that her heart could do to hold in all the mother love that she had for these little chicks. And it was also all that this young mother could do to take care of these chicks. She had to keep them together and feed them and wash them and keep them happy. She was almost at her wit's end. Ostrich led her young chicks out onto the savannah so that they could pick and peck and get some of their food. And this is what it sounded like. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. This way. Oh, no, don't go by that way. Oh, come back over here. Why don't you try this over here? And Ostrich was so busy, so preoccupied, that she didn't notice that up in the tree, lazily lounging on one of the branches, lay Lioness. Lioness looked down at this little group. Look at all those babies. I'm so lonely. What I wouldn't give for just one to keep me company. She watched, she waited for the perfect moment, and when Ostrich was standing here and her chicks were right here, she fell with a pounce and landed in between mother and babies. Lioness quickly began leading the young chicks away. And she realized soon that it was just as easy to take all 4 as it was to take one. And when Ostrich realized what was going on, she called out, "No, no, don't take my babies, don't take my babies." And Lioness looked back over her shoulder and said, "They're not your babies. They're my babies." No, no! And Ostrich kept following, not wanting to cause too much confrontation because she wanted to preserve the life of her babies. And she followed Lioness all the way back to Lioness's den, where she led those little chicks right inside. And one last pleading cry came from Mother Ostrich, "Please just don't eat my babies." And from inside the den she heard, "Oh, a mother never eats her babies, and I won't eat mine." What was Ostrich to do? She was beside herself. She needed help. She went to her feathered friends. She gathered them all together, hawk and grouse and crane and duck and all the other little feathered friends, and she told them, "You won't believe what has happened. Lioness has stolen my babies and she's calling them her own. You have to help me." When all those fowl, they listened, they hemmed and hawed, and they thought about Lioness with her sharp teeth, and they finally came to the conclusion, if Lioness says they are her babies, they must be her babies. And they dispersed. And Ostrich, she was just beside herself, and she was not done trying. She went to the African or the savannah animals, She asked them all to come to a council to decide whose babies these were. She asked wildebeest, and gazelle, and hyena, and hare, and they all said that they would come. She even went to Meerkat. And Meerkat listened with his little pointy nose. She said, please, will you come to the council to decide on whose babies these are? And Meerkat stood up very, very tall. Yes, I'll come, but you must hold the council next to an anthill, and you must dig a hole under the anthill with an entrance on one side and an exit on the other, and I will come. What kind of request was that? But Ostrich was a desperate mother, and she would do anything for her baby, so she did. She found, you can all picture those outrageously tall anthills, and she found one, and she used her pointy beak to dig that hole underneath, the entrance on one side and the exit on the other, and the animals gathered near this monstrosity. And wildebeest, being the largest of the savanna animals, he called things to order. We are here today to decide whose babies these are. And there was Lioness over there with the chicks running around her. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. Cheep, 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 peck, peck, peck. And Ostrich on the other side, watching, waiting, and all of the animals. Wildebeest said, Hyena, do you know the difference between a lion cub and an ostrich chick? Oh yeah, I know the difference. Well then tell me, whose chicks are these? He was getting the evil eye from Lioness. Yeah, well, you know how it is that babies always follow their mother, so they must be Lioness's babies? He wasn't laughing very much after that. Next, Gazelle came forward, and Wildebeest asked her whose babies these were. And Gazelle, she stood on her nimble feet, and she said, well, lion cubs do have 4 feet, do they not? And she waited, but Lioness did not skip a beat. Oh, my babies do have 4 feet. Do you see the little nubs on the sides of their bodies? Those are the front feet. They just haven't grown in yet. Gazelle looked at Lioness. Oh, they must be Lioness's babies. And Gazelle went off. One after the other, each animal came forward with some outlandish reason why these chicks must be Lioness's cubs, just because she stared each and every one of them down. Finally, it was Meerkat's turn. And Meerkat stood the smallest among all of these animals. He stood tall and he looked each one of them in the eye and he said, You are fools, every one of you. You all know that fur never begot fowl. And with that, he dove into the hole and was gone. Lioness took not a moment's hesitation, and she pounced right on that hole. Oh, she was going to get her revenge for those words that Meerkat spoke. But while Lioness was fuming at the hole, waiting for Meerkat to come out, the rest of the animals dispersed. And Ostrich, because one tiny animal was willing to speak the truth, Ostrich was able to gather her chicks and quietly take them